Hi, I'm Fred Kluth,
And I'm Deanna Cluth.
and this is Lead with Love. And right now, today is March 10th, and we are going to give intuitive and channeled and mediumistic messages about what's happening in the world today.
And we will tune into our inner flame, our heart space, our womb and hara space for whatever is wanting to be asked in this moment. Um, Insight around either something personal or something collective. Usually they're related and will resonate and on both the personal and collective level. And we just want to hold also in this container as we open the space all those around the world. We do this work for peace, for unconditional love, for healing, for our evolution. And so we'll open the circle by inviting you to take a few deep breaths and come into this present moment, into your body. And we call upon our ancestors, our guides, the benevolent beings that walk with us in our lives, supporting us, guiding us, to the ancestors of the lands that support and feed and nourish us. Really, everything, all beings, all plants, all animals, all trees, everything is our ancestor. And we invite you to feel that deep connection, this moist breath that carries the water into our bloodstream, into our lungs. We breathe and exchange with the plants, with the trees. This water from which we came, all life was born out of. And the memory throughout time that this water holds as it flows in our bones, in our blood. Feeling this light within and this connection to the fabric of life. We allow this light to grow within us and extend beyond the physical perimeter of our body, from this heart space, this womb space, reaching out to connect with the subtle dimensions of space where we connect with those on the other side, loved ones, ancestors who have crossed over, with our guides and angels, spirit animals. We invite you to come closer and be with us, to share any messages that we need to hear, to soothe and comfort our grieving hearts, pacify our worries, inspire us to create and bring forth our gifts, to nurture our families, our communities, to give birth to beauty in the world, to bring a sense of embodied joy, to be able to feel alive and joyful and laugh and share that laughter, embracing this life journey for all the benefit and beauty that is possible to experience in these bodies. Come closer and share with us your guidance and wisdom, helping us to accept what is so that we suffer less and we move through the mundane and the necessities of our tasks, of caring for our families, nurturing ourselves. We open this space to receive, to connect, to inspire, to uplift, to feel grounded, to heal. Thank you for showing up, for listening, for hearing us. Thank you for supporting us. And as we complete the opening of this circle, you may want to share your own opening words.
I want to acknowledge that we're coming from Bloomfield, New Jersey, which is Lenape land. And as we connect into our energy fields and into our bodies, we invite you to do so as well. And I'm going to call upon my ancestors, our spirit guides, and our fellows, all the known and unknown beings that help us every day. And in this energy field, we bring forth messages from Spirit to help us in our day-to-day activities, to guide us to live lives that are fuller, that are healed, that are open to new experiences. And it's with gratitude that I breathe in this next breath. Gratitude for the breath. Gratitude for my friends. Gratitude for my family. Gratitude to my partners in this world.
As I tune in, one question, a focus that comes up is something I heard recently from a beautiful radio program broadcasting updates from Kiev. And it's centered around one of the questions is how to keep the faith in times of war. And as this comes up in this moment, I feel this inspired message coming through that the importance of that question is also relevant even before and after times of war. It's a key for this transformational year is what's coming through, that we connect back to something that in these modern times we have disregarded because we don't have the kind of scientific fact connection, proven evidence that is thought to be acceptable. But when we look, when we listen deeply, we receive evidence that supports what can be called faith. And really, what's coming through is that it is deeper than faith. It is a knowing, a gnosis, inner vision, inner sight, this connection from this liminal sense to what is tangible and imperative that we connect with this spirit, the spirit of life in all things, our ancestors, brothers and sisters, all our relations, our connection to the trees, to the angels, to the stars, this earth, water, all the elements, that this is tangible when we have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, we tune in. And there is no doubt in the veracity, the truth of this connection, that it is real and that there is an exchange of information and support. Our earliest ancestors, human ancestors, knew this, and that is how we first found out how to treat illness with plants. It began somewhere. It began with this connection, and that is how it continues. In this time when our lifestyle is destroying the earth and destroying forests, even 50 years ago, the indigenous people, the I'm going to maybe not pronounce it correctly, the Achua in Ecuador and all around the world, probably in every indigenous still connected community to the land, listens directly and hears the voice of nature, the spirit of the earth, of the trees, communicate that the situation needs us to take action, to listen, to connect with the earth, and to know better how to live in relation, in harmony with this home, our home, to take care of our home. And as I tune in, it's also mirroring this home of this body. I'm still working on this too, but there's an imperative to listen and know that we're not taking as good care of this home as we can when we allow the kinds of things that are sold as food to be ingested that destroy the landscapes of our body, the harmony within our body that support health. It may be easier to disregard it, but in the long run, what are we doing to this earth, to this earth? And so, as I tune back in to complete this transmission, how do we keep the faith in times of war, in times when our nervous systems are so stressed? And the war can be a war within, it can be a war within a relationship or within a family. How do we return to this knowing, this utter trust that we are held? Because when we surrender to that knowing and that trust that we are ultimately held by this earth, the mother, God, whatever you name it, spirit, that changes our relationship to ourselves and to each other and to a present situation, a stressor. It changes then how our nervous system is reacting with this, either holding fight, flight, fear in times of war, so we can surrender to what is and allow ourselves to weep rather than hold on to this feeling. Because ultimately, it's about remaining open to let life flow through us. And then in that presence, then we are able to move quickly. And I'm brought to mind now in a time of war, on the front lines, if we're stuck and frozen in flight, we may not be able to respond as quickly to protect ourselves because we're out of our body, stuck, frozen. I had this experience when I was being shot at, when I, in 20, 30 years ago, and I was not able to move to protect my own self. Whereas someone with such presence, perhaps training, would be able to dive for cover, would be able to, whatever it is, but it's this nervous system. And it's connected with this idea of trusting that you are held, that you are able to be in such grace that you can protect yourself by being there. There's almost no need then for protection, because there is a divine understanding in something unfolding that is greater than we can even conceive. So there is the human experience where we grieve, and where maybe we are pawns in another larger game that someone else is playing out. But what is our part? How can we put aside the frozen fears, rage, anger, the things that get us stuck, to surrender to faith, to this knowing, so that we can then know and take action and be present to do what we are here to do, whatever our part is, whether it's to be this mother to the child, or whether it's to be the leader who gathers a group to make a change and tend to community, or start a school. Presence with what is, so that we can let go of our grief and allow ourselves to laugh in the face of what is, despite trauma. And sometimes we need someone else to show us the way, as it happened with me. And someone showed me that I could laugh again. And I'm still learning in my body how to play. But I'm feeling now my heart activated, and this message coming through that is key. This alignment with joy and play, and at the same time I want to weep in this moment. And that is the invitation to flow. And when we can feel that desire to weep and let that flow, then when we feel that desire for joy, we can let that flow too. To be able to be present, to play with our children, or to just have fun and let our inner children feel that experience again. How can we do that when we are so stuck in stress beyond, in daily life, even if we're not in a war zone? Sometimes it can feel that way. I know in the past years, as a mother, it has felt visceral, the stresses that can happen. An embattled war zone in our bodies. How can we live with grace and faith in the one hand, when in the other there is also this tension in the body? So I open the space, and I know there will be other things that come through, but I would like to, with that in mind, open the space to not just this inspired channeled message, but to any specific being or ancestor, guide that would like to speak on this point. Thank you.
And as you let Diana's messages settle in on your body, I invite you to take a few breaths in. Just notice what's come up for you. This is a strange time. This has been a strange time. It seems just as a pandemic is starting to wane, we have a new experience coming right on the heels of this war in Ukraine and how that affects our bodies. Just when we thought maybe this summer would be normal, or the spring or winter if you're in Australia, or in the southern hemisphere, something new is happening. And this is all part of this great change that's coming upon this planet, this great churning where what was old ways of behaving isn't working quite the same way. And as I say this, my heart opens and I pray for a quick and peaceful resolution. Quick and peaceful resolution. Miracles can happen every day. And the unexpected, if we've known nothing in the last few years, is that the unexpected can happen very quickly. And may peace and love and right thinking come through. This great wake-up call. And I think it's a wake-up call not only for what can happen in the world, but also a wake-up call for each and every one of us for vigilant self-care, deep, vigilant self-care. Self-care of, we need to make sure that we come first. We have to serve our families and our jobs and our callings and our inner selves, and we have to serve all of these parts of ourselves, but we also have to serve our families and our communities and our loved ones. And we can't do that unless we're taking care of ourselves. And what does that mean, right? Like, what does it mean to take care of yourself? Perhaps it means, going for a run or taking a walk or getting outside. And if you're anywhere near where I live, it's cold and miserable out. We're at the tail end of winter. And it feels like this winter has been exceptionally long, exceptionally difficult. And It's always darkest before the dawn. And we are so close to that great transformation that happens every spring, where seeds grow, new ideas form, animals come out of hibernation, this energy rises, and what looked so bleak soon turns to beautiful flowers and new growths and new ideas. If we could just hang on a little longer. And with that, we have to, sometimes we were like, okay, we know we're in the shit. We know we're not acting right. We know that things are challenging right now. And what we thought worked no longer works. And these ideas and these thought patterns just crumble apart. And when that crumbling in those tools that we had that no longer fit, we need to grow new tools. We need to dig a little deeper. And we also need to rely on our loved ones. And when I say loved ones, it might not necessarily be your family. It could be, but it's your dear friends, it's your mentors, it's your guides, it's the leaders of your tribe that you go to for guidance, it's your elders, it's your community, the people that you can cry to and say, I'm having a really hard time. And they might be able to say, yeah, me too. And you can hold each other, if it's either over Zoom or if it's in person, knowing soon it will be something different. And give yourself acceptance and forgiveness. It's okay to fall apart. It's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel jealous or angry or traumatized. Feel it, embrace it, honor it. If you push it away and push it away, it will just get stronger and louder. And it's with love that we do this. These wounds, these pains, these are our indications where we need to heal and where our body and our lives need love. And we can forgive ourselves and embrace ourselves and know that we're held in divine glory. All the warts and blemishes and all the imperfections all serve who we are and our path to love. And it's through embracing these pains and these fears and these anxieties and letting them be and letting them travel through us that we can be more present and more supportive to our children, to our parents, to our loved ones, so that we can embrace the responsibilities that we have to live a fuller life and to take advantage of the opportunities we have to live. And if this war or the other millions of tragedies and troubles that are going on this planet have got you down, gotten you worked up, gotten you obsessed, go to your breath. Go to gratitude for the next breath. And if you can, offer attention and love and respect to the people in your life who need you the most. And again, before you can do that, you need to give it to yourself. So put your hand on your chest, over your heart, And follow your breath. And be grateful for your breath that brings you to the next moment and all the sensations you have in your body. Be they good or bad, be they comfortable or uncomfortable, just be present with what is. Just be present with what is.
Thank you. Take a deep, cleansing breath and allow yourself to sigh as you integrate that message. And I've had this fierce, feminine, feline energy coming through with the message to move your body. And the sense of this movement is a bit of a whirlwind, a spiraling tornado. And in the hands are tools for clearing. Just imagining this movement of cutting down stalks of corn or wheat, and then with another arc and spiral clearing to the right and the left, and there's this spinning dance that happens with this, and there's something like a martial art about it, something, I don't want to say like a warrior, but that is the energy we have named it for a long time, but this feels more like a science, like a martial art, a tool for clearing the channels of the body, for clearing and transforming the dense, heavy, sticky, smoggy, toxic energies. And there is a fierceness to how these movements are creating a boundary around your being, your vessel. And at the same time as this clearing happens of these dense, heavy energies, there is this exhilaration, this activation of a fire within, of a life force energy igniting that brings fulfillment and the possibility of joy, of ecstatic, euphoric celebration, of having the space to dance, of this divine being that we are. But in this practical application of this movement, this message is a tool to help you move stagnant energy and guard against the crushing weight of perpetual bombardment of negativity, of fear, of angst that comes not just from within, but it's coming from everywhere out in the world. And so on the theme of this, maintaining this integrity of your sovereign self in the midst of so much static energy going on in the world, the news that we repeatedly hear. And if you're particularly sensitive and feel empathy, how heavy that can get. Or if you've got loved ones who are directly affected, how viscerally that can be felt in the body. And so doing this dance is not about giving it's like about giving yourself permission to do this, not so that you can be joyful and guilt-free and ignore what's going on in the world. It's about using this as a tool, just like you would brush your teeth or brush your hair. You are brushing your energy body to clear that dense heaviness so that you can operate better. It's an oil change. It's windshield wiper. You need it. It's not a frivolous it's not a luxury. It is a necessity that we connect with faith, with this knowing that there is something more than the physical body that we need to tend to and connect with, because it does affect how we live in the world. It does affect how we act, how we think, how we are able to respond and be in relation with others and with the earth. And that affects our evolution. It affects the planet. It affects what we support to grow in this world. So by clearing this out, by acknowledging, grieving what's ours, but everything else that is not ours, that's impinging from outside, and clearing and holding these boundaries in this really beautiful, loving, ecstatic dance, is filling your vessel with so much energy and life that there's no room for what is not life, what is not light, what is not going to be a beacon that resonates with the vibration of unconditional love. To touch the hearts around you and send that prayer around the world to support people like those on the front lines of war. Being a beacon of light and love. Having faith and trust and knowing that you not only are that lighthouse, but that the effect of aligning with life has a tangible repercussion upon the world, upon the people, upon the plants, the earth, the animals, the molecules of life. And that this gives you purpose and power, aligning with your sovereign power to be a vessel of light. This is what we are. That is the truth of our being. And it may seem esoteric and far out there for some people, but the more we can come back to this, what people might call faith, I call knowing, the more effective we can be to bring about the change we want to see in the world. To live within the space of beauty, love, tenderness, fiercely protecting that, fiercely tending also with those movements, gathering the corn to feed and nourish the family and ourselves. It's this energy that we have the power to do that rather than get stuck and become inert or a pawn manipulated by others. We claim our power and stand in our power and guard that power and radiate that power for others to align with that light and activate this beautiful grid of light and life force energy that protects the entire world, the womb of the earth. This being, this fierce feminine feline energy is transmitting this message because she wants you to have that sovereign power, to feel that, to activate that, to stand with her in defense and righteous honoring and justice and balance, harmony. I thank her for showing up here, for this teaching, this tool. It feels like something our grandmothers, our great, 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 great grandmothers knew how to do. Let it awaken within your DNA. The remembering of that sovereign power you have access to live your life. Fiercely, doing no harm to others, nor to yourself, protecting life, whatever form that life may take, whether vegetable or animal. We are the guardians of the earth. We are the gardeners. We are the life birthing givers, the mothers, the fathers, brothers, sisters. We are family. Let's allow ourselves to be inspired by this, because I know for myself, I, for one, don't always stay with this. I get to those places of stuckness and fear or anger, inertia. So I'm really gonna take this in and work with these tools and put on some music or not and dance and do that movement and feel what it might feel like in my body, what it might open up and what might move. I want to do it in my living room. I also want to do it right on the earth, out in the woods. Just I'll keep as I do it now. I think of the movement in Moana that the grandmother teaches. So there's like this watery fluidity about it too. So have fun, play with it. Bring some fun into your life with this practice, this invitation to flow and let flow.
I think that's a great place to end it.
Would you like to close?
Yes, thank you. It's with great gratitude that I do this work with you, Deanna. And I want to give gratitude to all my family, to my family on earth, and my family in spirit. And I want to call upon 4 tenets that I like to call to my life and guide my life. And they're play, freedom, fun, and ease. And we're not always able to get to there. We're not always able to find those spaces in our day-to-day. But if we keep those guideposts, how to make things easier, how to bring play into our lives, how to have fun, and how to have freedom. I felt that practice that you channeled in tonight, Deanna, was an avenue to create freedom, to free yourself from these tangles, and to call in these ancient practices, these felt somatic practices, to develop freedom in your spirit, in your mind, and in your body. So that regardless of what's happening around us, we can travel in these spaces with peace, love, and equanimity. And I ask for support for all of us, from the great powers of the universe, from angelic beings, from spirit, from our ancestors. Heed our call. Help us bring peace to this planet. Help us be the guardians and the guides to the children, and help us heal, and help us be the guardians of love, life, freedom, play, fun, and ease. Breathe in. Bring mindfulness to your breath and gratitude. Oh.
Thank you.
Shay. Do you have any announcements or anything you want to call in?
Just stay tuned. We'll be doing this monthly. When we have some live participants, we can tune into specific questions, or your loved ones who may come visit from the other side, your guides, guardians, ancestors. And coming up in the fall, we'll be starting up another round of Embodying Divinity, our 9-month course in clearing the channels and womb awakening, sensual life, and also I'll be starting a couple new one-on-one offerings. One is called the Isis Womb Gestation, for moving through pivotal transitional phase in life, or an awakening, or a difficult job situation, or family, or some kind of healing process. And also there is my self-guided downloadable shadow healing, where you are supported and can have a one-on-one with me. However, there are downloadable guided journeys and written materials to help you through this process of facing any fears, looking at the shadows and turning them from monsters to babies that you can embrace and integrate, or parts that don't belong to you that can be released. And yeah, stay tuned for ongoing work. We have a Sekhmet sister circle that we do with my partner Nicole at Imrahma, and Imrahma Mystery Schools College is something that the three of us together founded, and there's lots of downloadable guided meditations and transmissions, as well as classes and courses that you can have fun exploring to support your healing or development of tools for your private healing practice. And thank you for the work you do on an individual level, and or whether you work with clients in any capacity. Thank you for showing up and doing this transformational work for yourself, for your family, your community, for the world.
Awesome. And we're both available for one-on-one sessions and readings. So reach out to us. Tune in next month for another Lead with Love.
Yes, we have many tools to share. We're very happy to share them. That's what our teachers were called to do, and we are continuing that call of the ancestors of nature to share these resources and tools for life.
All right.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.